been a long time. I shouldn't have left you. It's Trav Moody here for another special edition of A Toy Kind of Mood, episode 252. Yes, we're still a show. It still happens. It might not be weekly. It might not always be live, but A Toy Kind of Mood will live and breathe through the GIJoe community and other toy communities at that. But we got a special New York Toy Fair edition that we're going to be talking about today, and I get an awesome guest. Been following this guy's videos lately. He's been killing it, crushing it. Lots of cool docu-style stuff, ranking stuff, and he's been a fan of A Toy Kind of Mood, so I'm a little flattered. But I definitely want to bring him on. It's my guy, Dimsa.
Hello.
Is my spirit animal. What's happening, my friend?
Hey, thanks for having me on, man. Yeah. Nice.
It's finally happened.
Yeah. And I avoid talking about all the Toy Fair stuff, so it'll be fresh.
Hey, I appreciate that. No repetition here on ATKM 252. So, hey, first thing, we talked on the phone a little bit. I was driving home from work, and we're both New England boys, man. That's cool. I didn't know that watching your stuff.
Yeah. I live in Rhode Island, right near Hasbro, basically. So.
What do you mean? What are you talking about? There's no more Hasbro there. Is it still there? Is the building still there? Are people still in the? Do you know much about what's going on in Pawtucket?
They haven't moved yet, I don't think, right? I think they're still there. Yeah, I think they're in the process. Cool. Yeah, it's probably gonna take like a year or whatever. But yeah, it sucks, man. It pisses me off. But it's kind of cool because like growing up in Rhode Island, a lot. Like I'm actually acquaintances with Ron Rudet's son. I still haven't met Ron, but I know his son. I know like kids who, I grew up with kids whose dads worked at Hasbro. I know like 30 people who worked at Hasbro in the past like decade and Cake Mix Studios doing like the videos and shit. So,
it makes sense that you'd be in the video world, man. You've been taking the GIJoe community by fire over the last few years, a couple years with your videos, and man, some of them I'm like almost 500,000 views on some of the stuff. So bravo to that. It's quite amazing. How does it feel for you? I mean, what's this kind of new YouTube stardom, if you will, or whatever you want to call it?
Yeah, very, very minor stardom, I guess. Yeah.
No, just getting begged for autographs at every yard sale.
Yeah. It's pretty cool. Yeah, it's definitely awesome. Making a little bit of extra money. Not gonna quit my job anytime soon. But
yeah, exactly.
It definitely helps. I get people send me stuff sometimes. Sometimes death threats. Stuff like that.
You either get sent, free samples of stuff that's warming the pegs at Target, or a death threat on X or IG. So, welcome to the club. But yeah, it's cool because I've seen you in our chat room. Live chats on some of our live streams, and I'm like, oh man, that guy makes some good stuff. So it's cool. We kind of have I would say completely different styles, but similar tastes, if you will, in terms of content creating.
Oh yeah, nice. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, but yeah, you're crushing it. I'll throw this up there, but yeah, if you don't already know, Destro is my spirit animal. How'd you come up with that name, man? I came ready and I wore whatever I got with Destro on it for you. But
it's actually a pretty weird story. So my stepbrother is he's a consultant. He does all kinds of crazy shit, and he set me up with this. I was going through divorce. He set me up with this therapy. It's called RIM therapy. It means regenerating images in memory. The first thing, of course, anybody who hears it immediately think rim job. I'm getting a rim job, right? So he sets me up with this. He's like, look, this like changed my life. It's like, I'll do this. I'll buy you the therapy. So he buys me the therapy, and one of the things that happens is they basically do like sort of like put you in a trance. It takes about an hour and a half. They put you in like a trance, and you go through this, and but it really fucking works. It was like insane. It was like 3 months or 3 years of therapy in like an hour. And I'm not even that I'm not that new agey and shit. But he's
crazy.
Yeah, but he paid me. He paid for it, and he's like, "Yeah, just do it." And so he does this, and the guy kind of who's doing it, Michael Klein, his name is, by the way, he conjures up, he's like conjure up like an image from your childhood as like a protector, you know, and Destro's head comes up. So yeah, so
That's why they have T-shirts with just his head.
yeah,
Like you don't see his neck, or like that was the first
yeah.
Hasbro T-shirt that came out on Pulse. They just
Oh,
did
really?
like a generic GI Joe, and then they did. Remember when they first came out Classified? They had some really neat art on there,
Yeah.
and they started making some designs. And you just saw Destro's head on a
Yeah.
shirt. It was like literally no body, no nothing, no insignia, just his head. Just
The
that
floating
icon.
head, yeah.
Exactly. Pulling back a little bit, how'd you like what's your history? Just a brief history, Joe. Like your video is very much historian. Like you got a lot of
Yeah.
streams are themed on like a 1982, 1983. Shout out to Toy Connections. So another toy guy who does a lot of like documentary style stuff, and he does a lot of history of GI Joe by the years, and also Mark Mercy. Mike Mercy, sorry
Oh, yeah.
about that, is like maybe the GOAT when it comes to like kind of the history of Joe videos on YouTube. I mean, he is the GOAT, but so it's cool to see some of that with your detail. But just a quick like what would you say like Joe is to you? Like
Oh, yeah, I've been, like, absolutely obsessed from, the day it came out. So,
Mhm.
I
Yeah.
got it right away. I'm 51, so I'm, like, right around the time GI Joe was out. I was 8 years old,
Mhm.
so I
Yeah.
walked into a store. I was kind of in love. I mean, I'm, like, so obsessed with it that, I named my daughter Scarlet, you know, slipped out past my wife at the time. She's
Yeah.
just,
Yeah. Well,
um,
she's not thrilled about your son Snake Eyes and Storm Shadow,
yeah,
but at least daughter she approves. Uh
yeah. So yeah, just obsessed, just absolutely obsessed. Mostly it's like a lot of it's Larry Hama. The comic book really hit for me as a
yep.
kid. And then I've always been obsessed, I kept everything. So I have like all my childhood stuff. I never got rid of anything except for He-Man, but I got all my shit. It's all in bad shape, all in like horrible shape, in store,
No,
half of it's in
at
storage.
least you still have it.
Yeah,
That
yeah, yeah.
that stuff was gone in floods. You know, us in New England boys, you got a basement. That stuff it
Oh,
ain't gonna
yeah.
last.
It's true, true, yeah.
So yeah, I don't have any remnants of Joe from the past. But something else, the thing I did is I did almost a recap video of this
Yeah,
video that you did, a breaking
yeah.
news, deep throat reveals. You know why? Is like at first I was like, do I really want to watch this? Am I gonna get it? You know, and I've seen some of your other stuff. It was like, am I gonna get like upset? Is this like clickbait? Like whatever, like
Oh, yeah.
and then so many people commented on just random threads. Hey, I watched this video from Destro's. Like you, there was I don't even know. It was like 5 to 10 throughout IG, YouTube community, whatever, Facebook groups, whatever. And I was like, all right, fine, I'm gonna watch this video. And I loved your charm, man. And maybe it's the New England thing without me knowing it was New England, or it was like he's like I said, this is I even called Baldy or talked to him, and I was like, this guy's like an East Coast guy I just want to have a beer with or something like that. You know what I mean? I was just like,
Yeah.
all right, because I watched the stuff where you're not on camera, just like
Hmm.
like docu style stuff, and I'm just like, oh man. But this was just mostly just you sitting, chilling, and you had a good laid back rapport. You'd be like, you didn't take yourself too seriously. You didn't take the rumors, or you kind of were like, hey, this is what I was told, and I just liked the delivery, and I was like, I gotta have this guy on.
Thanks, man. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, it's like I was like, this could totally be bullshit. It was like I was like prepared for all to be completely bullshit.
Yeah, but some of it happened and some of it was true. What do you think the percentage, or at least like, do you have an idea of like how many of the reveals were correct at New York Toy Fair, or at least like,
Yeah.
I don't know, tipped off or
A good amount of them have come true. So far, I like Wild Bill Retro is definitely true. That's coming out. Like
right?
I think we know that Iron Grenadier Destro is coming out, and he's gonna have the despoiler. And I'm
Hmm.
pretty sure he has the shield. So the one big thing my guy told me was that he has a shield with like a sword in the middle of it. So you put the sword
That
in.
was a cool detail. So that's the difference between saying like my buddy said this, but then when you start to get into like the actual detail of what these things have or whatever, that kind of helps out the cause in the case of the rumor or reveal, right?
Definitely, I think the one thing that absolutely crushes it as far as this, because it was the one thing that everybody was like, I was like trolling people with it because I was like, I don't even buy it. I think this is totally bullshit. Was the stupid dinosaur. I thought the stupid dinosaur was like the dumb, like this is the dumbest idea ever.
And there we go. That's the thread of our show. We're gonna ask the big questions. I mean,
Yeah.
should dinosaurs even exist in GIJoe Classified? And I think even pre-show we said, hey, like we're trying to get kids involved, and I think that's a perfect segue right now to get into what
Oh,
Playmates
yeah.
is doing with GIJoe, because look, TMNT, they're the whores of the toy industry too, but toy industry where they've mixed and mashed with everybody, Transformers,
Right.
Motu, and WWE, and it's just been and so forth. GI Joe, though, other than Transformers, you didn't see too many crossovers, thankfully, because it could ruin what GI Joe is. But overall, the reception of this has been pretty good.
Yeah, I don't want it. I don't know if I'll be buying any of this shit, but maybe I might buy. I can see buying the Snake Eyes, maybe. Just because I have like a Snake Eyes
Yeah.
collection and a Destro. Maybe I'll just buy those.
And it fits Leo with the weapons, and
Yeah,
it's easy to do because he's in a whole cloak. He doesn't, it looks more Snake Eyes than Turtle on there. But yeah, people are digging. I was actually surprised. I thought this was going to catch a lot more flack and hate, and yeah, I mean it's got a lot of love.
Are you buying it?
I'm not, but I think my girlfriend might.
Oh, yeah.
So here's the deal. She's a TMNT fiend.
Oh, that's
And
cool, man.
and TMNT might be like around number 5 on my list of like toy IP or something like that. Maybe lower if you want to start including wrestling. But she's got a lot of the stuff from like Super 7. But the thing is, she's getting into Joe, obviously, because of I mean, look who she's dating. She has to. She's got no choice. But no, I think this would be like the perfect kind of introduction or whatever, kind of learning more about the characters. Maybe watch the cartoon while loving her turtles. And I mean, they definitely are built on the base of the form factor of Playmates. So it's not like TMNT on the 3 3/4 O-ring Joe. So I think this works more for turtle fans.
That's true. Yeah, yeah. It's like, what would I do with them? I don't know how they would fit in. So, because I'm a big player. I play with these things, and I have excuses because I have kids, but like, I might even play without the kids. But so I need shit that integrates with my already like growing collection,
Right. But I think I think you just said it right there. I mean, as far as play, this might be a way to get the kids into GI Joe. I mean, they don't really, especially the new era kids. And I know everyone's gonna say, well, I only see grown neckbeards at Target and Walmart, scalpers and stuff. But at the end of the day, the toy aisles still do appeal to the moms and the kids. And if they see turtle stuff that looks really cool, this might be a nice introduction. At least it's a nice attempt. If only hardcore collectors get this because they just buy everything Joe, fine. But I mean, I think this is a great way to get kids into GI Joe because TMNT is just like appeals to all.
Yeah, do kids still play with TMNT? Like, I feel like my kids are all about Lego. That's their thing. They like Lego.
GI Joe Lego would be the way to go too.
There you go. Yeah. That's pretty great.
Well, I know GI Joe is doing something with, is it Roblox? The ones from Mattel. There was something that came out last year, I think, or was it Roblox or something else? I can't remember what it was.
I don't remember. There was some sort of like miniature GI Joe Lego thing that they did a few pieces, but
yeah.
I don't know. It didn't really grab. My kids love Classified, but it's just so expensive. It's like they have a huge collection because I have a huge collection, but I honestly I don't know that I would be going to the store buying them tons of shit if it wasn't,
No, well, they could just play with your stuff.
Yeah, they just play with my shit.
So yeah, it's pretty easy as a collector to just be like, hey, just don't touch that one, but the rest are fine. And then as far as the vehicles, we won't dig in too deep. We're here for classified, but
Oh yeah.
they definitely are more Joe on the vehicles than so the toys are like TMNT form factor, but then the vehicles are more Joe form factor. Do you think they did this to kind of place the turtles in the Joe world, or like, or do you think it's just kind of easy to reuse? So what's the deal with this?
Probably because you can't, like, I feel like there's not too many other than the van, right? There's not really very iconic
Good
Turtles
call.
vehicles,
Yeah.
it's sort of it makes more sense to go with the iconic GI Joe, and also they have like shit ton of stuff because Turtles is like the most overproduced toy line of all time. So they
Oh,
have
of course.
it's crazy. It's just like millions of they have like hundreds of vehicles. So it just feels
Mhm.
like maybe that's the thinking. I don't know.
Yeah. For sure. Shout out to Toy Arc Gizmodo with the reveal for the images there below. But yeah, just we'll also talk more themes when it comes to trying to get kids in the line. I mean, look, we're a hardcore collector show, but at the end of the day, Joe only lives and dies through through the kids. I mean,
Yeah,
once we're gone, who buys Joe? Who cares? So we gotta think. I think they do a great job with the Transformers and Energon comics. Now those are pretty adult heavy, but
yeah.
at least they're some form of media, right? That Joe's kicking butt with. So, do you think there's any other kind of form of media with Joe that would really help? Is there something you think of? I mean, besides just the movies, like with Paramount.
I think it. I think actually the Energon, like the comics and the when it becomes a cartoon, the more
That's
adult
right, that
cartoon, I think,
crossover cartoon.
yeah,
Yeah,
because actually, if you look at what kids are into right now, I almost think young kids are almost. I think it's actually teenagers would be good because you gotta like. There's a lot of teenager collectors. Like teenagers are now much more into like weird dorky media. Where when I was a kid, I was
right.
like the only dork, going to a toy store. But I feel like there's
Yeah,
now it's like girls are into it. You know what I mean? Like
right. Yeah.
it's like all over the place. Kids are really like they're obsessed. Like my kids are really into. I think the biggest thing right now is Demon Slayer, which is like very cool. It's like
Metsu no Yaiba.
yeah,
I'm a big
yeah.
fan of too. Yeah, I'm a big fan. I
Oh,
went
you
and
are?
saw
Yeah,
even saw the movie. Oh yeah, the one in
so good.
IMAX. Oh yeah,
Yeah.
I don't mess around.
And that shit's brutal. So it's like if a kid can get
Oh
a
yeah,
Demon Slayer, they can get into a GI Joe. I think like a GI Joe that's a little
you're
darker
right.
will work. So I think
Mhm.
that's going to be a game changer
That's
when.
actually a fantastic point. I've wanted a GI Joe anime forever, and I've been telling the
Mm,
Hasbro team I'm like that's the teens, right? Or the kids or the teens are into anime, and you
yeah,
bring Joe is perfect for anime. I mean, we've seen with Resolute and Renegades and stuff that like it has kind of anime feel. Definitely Resolute. That Castlevania type
yeah,
cyberpunk. That kind of anime would be sick for Joe. You know what I mean?
yeah, totally, totally. And girl, I think you could get a lot because there's a lot of like very cool kick-ass women. I feel like you could get a lot of women into GI Joe in that way. There's not a lot now,
Mhm.
but there are like if you look at Demon Slayer fans, they're cosplaying as these. I feel like there is a potential. So I think it's really good news that they're doing that cartoon. That's going to be and
Mhm.
it's Robert Kirkman, so he's a genius. So that shit could be really good.
This segue was not on purpose. This was not planned, Mark.
Yeah.
But speaking of kick-ass women, man, we got
Oh yeah.
Dawn Moreno, Snake Eyes, perfect for
Yeah.
the anime series. And I wanted to pull her front and center because, as you mentioned, Larry Hama, right? He's the king of all this. He was thrilled to present this. We were thrilled as a community, as fans, to even if you're not reading the comic, even if you're not updated, with some of the newer characters. How great is it to see the Godfather of Joe
Mm.
presenting, the modern day classified toy, or at least taking a first look at it and seeing his creations come to, plastic life.
Oh yeah, it's so good. I actually love Dawn. I don't know. Do you read the comics?
Oh yeah, all caught up in all Joe comics.
Yeah,
Yep,
nice. So
absolutely.
I gotta admit I fucking hated the Death of Snake Eyes comic. I
Yeah.
hated it. I thought it was
Mhm.
possibly the worst thing he's ever done. But once he's dead and then he brings in Dawn, like a lot of people hate the Dawn character because they think she's like a
Right.
DEI, like whatever. I don't give a shit about that. I think like what his idea was she's a cool cosplay costume. You know,
Right.
like, and how can you not love the idea of like women cosplaying as Snake Eyes? Just so for me, it's like I almost wish they didn't call her Snake Eyes in the package because she's like Dawn, and it doesn't really like she's not necessarily female Snake Eyes. It's like the story's kind of cool. She gets his,
Mhm.
I think a lot of because I don't know if you saw. Did you see like a ton of people just pissed off that they made this character?
Well, yeah, because at the end of the day, the people that are pleased are just going to hit the like button. The comments are always going to be people with strong opinions, and strong
Mhm.
opinions tend to sway negatively. That's just how it is. But
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, we're getting cool new characters, and I know everybody wants their OG 13 and all that stuff. I mean, we got pretty much all the dreadnoughts, but here's the deal. At the end of the day, I've been saying this forever. If they give us every character from the original line, people are going to quit the line and keep just the original characters. You gotta It's a business. They got to keep feeding you, and that's why they're creating new characters, expanding to the 90s. And we'll talk more about that as we kind of go through some of the kookier stuff from Toy Fair. But as far as Dawn, I mean, her first appearance was in 226 in 2016. She was this high school lacrosse player abducted by Cobra. And then, yeah, I mean, using like the brainwave technology, transferred Snake Eyes memories and stuff, skills into her mind. And then later she joined, Rashikage, got trained up, and eventually, of course, became a GI Joe. So I mean, I think it's a fun story. It's not the best of all time, but I mean, it's cool. You gotta keep it fresh. You can't just have the same original, 1985 figure, characters, and 88 characters over and over. You gotta expand. I think they did a good job with her.
Yeah, I mean, I think that the people complain about. I agree with the complaint of like let's make Snake Eyes a woman. That this idea because it was just done really lamely. I thought, and it's like one of those like a stunt. They do it all the time. They kill Superman, they kill Captain America, they kill none of them ever stay dead. And
Right.
it's like I think did Captain America stay dead? I don't even know, but
Oh, and the death of Captain America. Yeah, I mean that's a whole nother topic, man.
I
But yeah.
just feel like they do shit like that, and it's always kind of stupid.
Sometimes it's awesome. Ed
Yeah,
Brubaker, and I want like again, we don't go into a Marvel tangent, but
yeah.
I mean Bucky Cap is dope, and hell now the Marvel Legends Buck was Bucky Cap for a while, and then now it's Vulcan Buck. So obviously he was an inspiration in plastic form too.
Yeah, I mean, every once in a while it's done well. I don't think they did it well with Snake Eyes though. I thought like he dies like a bitch. He like basically dies
Yeah.
out so easy. He gets killed
Yeah.
so fucking easy. He goes and tries to kill Serpentor and like just it lands in a grenade. It's like Snake Eyes wouldn't do that shit. He's way too good for that. But whatever.
Yeah, he's too
That's
tactical, but yeah, anyway, that's
he's too
neither
good for
here
that.
nor
It
there.
was a lame death, but the story. So I think everybody though who is like with me on that hates the
Mm.
death of Snake Eyes shit. You got to get over this. I don't like Dawn because Dawn is a cool character. Beyond that, she's like
Mhm.
very like when you get over that, and then you go in and you have her like story. It's a very cool story. So I think
Yeah, and then how about the figure itself? So this was a first
yeah.
pre-order, a few days ago. All the pre-orders went up, yesterday as you're watching this on February 17th. But a few days ago, this was nice to have its own pre-order, just kind of to spotlight this special character created by Larry in the modern era, and kind of highlight her maybe instead of, because maybe she gets lost in this wave of like 8 pre-orders. I think we pre-ordered like 6 or 7 figures today or yesterday or
Mhm.
whatever. So to have her own day highlighted at Midtown Comics, and it was GI Joe day for the comic book store, because you got GI Joe comic came out, all the Real American Hero came out, Transformers. So it was a big comic day. I think the rollout was great. This figure itself, though, I love that she's muscular, but not like super China
Mhm.
buff, but she's like not skinny like a Lady J or something. Like she looks tough, but she's still like feminine. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah. I mean the figure looks great. It's
Yeah.
just it's a great costume. So I
Mhm.
think that's what I think everybody who's like doesn't like whatever, you don't like the story, just like go with it. It's a cool costume. That's all you need,
Sure. Yeah,
You
and
don't
at
have
the end of the day, it's a toy, so you don't really need to love the story if you love the form. So,
I'm also guessing
um,
they're probably gonna bring her into the Energon universe and have a totally different origin. Like she won't be the female Snake Eyes, she'll be Dawn. And she'll have right because that's what they do with pretty much everything in Energon universe. They're bringing in these characters in a totally new
right.
way, and it would be way too clunky for them to kill Snake Eyes and bring her in.
Oh yeah, no.
So I think they'll probably bring her in and just have her be her own thing, be like an apprentice of Snake
Yep.
Eyes or something.
Well,
So
yeah, it's separate. Energon, just to be clear to those at home who aren't really reading the comics, Energon Universe is a completely, it's in the name. It's a completely different universe. I mean, and then a Real American Hero. And I think it's cool that Larry's still able to do his thing, go kind of nuts with it, and bring like a whole different element and keep the spirit alive of a Real American Hero. But then Energon's kind of just adding a lot of freshness to the lore.
yeah, totally.
So these are some New York Toy Fair looks. Shout out to the Full Force. Shout out to Paternia and Toy Arc. Some of the people I was grabbing some images from. So great, boots on the ground. We would always want to reward that. As someone who has worked for Toy News International at Comic-Con, and then I see my pictures on all these blogs and YouTube videos. I just want to shout everybody out who's there doing the hard work. The easiest thing to do is cover a convention from home. I was just on the couch on Sunday watching the NBA All-Star stuff in the background and just working on this. I'm like, this is so easy than traveling to New York and running around the convention and being, shoulder to shoulder with people. But how about conventions yourself? Are you doing Joe Fest this year? Are you doing Comic-Con? Are we going to see anything like that?
I'm definitely going to go to Joe Fest. Yeah.
Nice.
Probably not Comic-Con, but just because.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a little maybe we'll see though. Definitely going to go to Joe Fest. It's my first time. I haven't been before, so.
Beautiful. Yeah, I went a couple years ago, and I apologize. I couldn't go last year. I was going to go this year. I had to make a difficult choice between that and Chicago. But it's like Augusta or Chicago, right? It's like a financial choice. But we'll see what's up. But look, moving on, financial choices. We made a lot of them on February 17th with a lot of pre-orders. We're going to start off deluxe, man. We're going heavy. How many of these bad boys did you pre-order, Mark?
I got 5. I got 5 of them.
Oh, he got 5 on it, son. He got 5. Oh man, talk to me. What you got 5? That's good news. So talk to me about what you think of the classified version of the Cobra Royal.
Oh, this thing is unbelievable too. Like to me, this is like where they're really killing it is with the troop builders, like the Desert Scorpion, the Ghost Viper. They're giving you like so many options. Yep. And now you want, I kind of felt like with the Ghost Viper, I ended up grabbing 2 of them, and I want, and now that I have them, I want 5, and that's how I felt with this. I was just like, I knew I wanted 5, and I also knew it might sell out, so I didn't really pre-order the other stuff because I knew you're gonna be able to get it. You're just gonna be able to get every one of them, like except for this one,
I gotta interrupt you right here because the one thing I didn't do in this show was actually, and I'm good at this, and I didn't do it. I didn't put myself over, man. Last night or this morning, whatever, I reviewed the newest wave of GIJoe Classified.
Nice.
And it's the big law wave, as you want to call it. So did a ranking and review. But I don't know if I saw this or just thought of it, but the Night Viper, I switched the sculpts with the Dire Beast Vipers and the Ghost Vipers. And it is awesome, and it's almost seamless. They snap on perfectly, and the color scheme is great. I don't have any pictures on here, but just go, whoever's watching this live or whatever, when you're done or tomorrow, go check out the ranking if you haven't, and check out the kit bash of the Ghost Viper and the Night Viper. It's pretty cool how it works.
That is cool because they gave you so many extra pieces. You really could. Like just use the extra pieces and get a figure that's not $100, because those things are going.
Yeah, because you got those 3 different helmets, and that's why I love. I mean, that's the value I put in the reviews is when I can get multiple looks, especially if it's a new character or something that appeals to me. But yeah, as far as this, it's hard because you got 5, but not everybody can get 5 $45 army builders, so that kind of can become a little problematic. I was kind of telling people in the beginning, just get one because they'll do retros, and then you'll get them for the $27.99, and you can get they're more simple, and they can just kind of. But man, I did go 2. They just look when I saw all these, all this photography from STG, I just had to grab 2.
Yeah, I feel like I want 2 with the wings and the heavy armor, and then 3 that are just like chilling,
like these guys, like kind of grunts or whatever.
Yeah. So yeah, that was the one I waited, man. I was waiting. Click that button as soon as 1 p.m. hit. But I didn't buy any of the other stuff though. I didn't pre-order anything. So this is the only thing I bought because everything else I think you're going to be able to get.
Yeah.
And I actually hate pre-ordering because it's like I'm like I need it now. You know what I mean? And so it's like for me, I don't want to order something and 6 months later get it, which is like, like especially if you order through Hasbro Pulse, you never get your shit.
Well, this guy was on eBay last week for $85, $89.99 or something, plus $35 shipping. And it was in Thailand. So I'm like, even if I buy it now, I'm not going to get it forever. And then Bobby B, of course, right? Of course, B's Battlegrounds reviews it like today. I'm just like, how do these guys do it? Like, you got to have someone special because if it's me and I'm paying that much, I'm still getting it a month after these guys. So I'm like, I don't have the hookup in at the Hong Kong factory. But shout out to B's and Shark Eyes for the reviews. But yeah, I mean, all the different looks you can have the helmetless look, and then you got the wings. I love that they gave us all these. Even with the green spears, everything looks different. That the horned head, you can make captains, you can make lieutenants, you could basically do a whole army with this one pack. I just feel like sometimes I just need more bodies. I don't need all the stuff, but I need like a 2-pack of these, but just all the accessories, but 2 bodies. I really wish that happened, with like Snow Serpent and the original Snow Serpent and stuff like that, because sometimes it's just too many accessories if you're buying 5, right?
That's true. Yeah, they did that. They did that with the Steel Core, right? And that was cool. They could have given us a girl and a female and a male. Right. I think a female on one of these would be great.
No, smart. But yeah, good looking shots, good stuff right there. See what else we got. Oh yeah, and we got some in-hand images from Toy Fair, courtesy of his tank here. So Lenny definitely wanted to play up that whole the chitin crustacean look, like lobster, crab. That's why you get that armor, and it's even though they got wings, it's kind of a cool contrast to have like the bee wings, kind of very Motu like, but then you also Buzzor, but then you got the crustacean armor, so it just kind of adds a new element to Cobra.
Yeah, I'll tell you this stuff you're talking about getting kids in. And this is stuff where my kids will like, they like the first, because they don't know much about GI Joe, but they saw Nemesis and Immortal. When they saw that thing, they were like, oh shit, that's the one I want to play with. You know what I mean? Like, so they're gonna like when they see those, they're gonna be like crazy over them.
Great. And I'll tell you a guy, when I did my like ranking of the GI Joe Day reveals, this guy was near the bottom. If he wasn't the bottom, and I was like, I don't know what to think about this. It's like another cold slither. But man, after seeing these photos, shout out to Tanmay Joshi, man. He even commented on my thread. He's like, everyone's using my photos. But yeah, I guess he was one of the first people to grab this overseas or whatever. And I got attacked to my post for calling this my $95 Valentine's Day date. People got pissed and were like, you're a loser for spending $95. I did not buy this figure. I was just like, just trolling, having a good time. But Tanmay did, and look at he did awesome posing. He's good at posing figures, so I give him credit. And it looks way better in hand than those original render. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's great. I love this figure as a kid. He was fun. It's not like your preferred Zartan, but it's a great looking figure.
Yeah, I never had it. I never had the Ninja. I don't know if I even had many Ninja Force things. I think I had Ninja Force Storm Shadow, which was the first thing we got, and one of the first things we got in the line. But yeah, I don't remember having this Zartan. But it's smart after the Cold Slither release to kind of reuse some of that stuff. But then they added a lot of new too with the new swords. And yeah, just seeing it in hand, it looks so much more fierce and classified up, if you will.
Yeah, he makes a great like street thug dude too. You know what I mean? Like I feel like you can kind of use him as a bunch of different things. He's kind of a fun figure.
Oh, GI Joe would put together a punk rocker that does ninja stuff, so it kind of works for being wacky. And then this today sold out on Pulse. Everyone gets all mad, but it was up on Target for a while. It is sold out completely now. It was kind of the only exclusive that went up, so that's gonna happen. Lenny also wanted to dull down that green because he said like it would blind you. And I'm
Yeah,
glad he did it because Overkill, who we're going to talk about in a little bit, his vest is so bright. I'm glad that just both figures are not, you know, neon or fluorescent yellow and green. So he kind of like tamed it down a little bit.
he could have done for me. He could have made it army green. I don't need it to look like it did when I was a kid. You know,
Yeah.
I think the people who are into that shit, it's just like it's got to look exactly like the way it did in 1992 or 3 or whatever. It's kind of
Right.
stupid. It's like,
Well, I think if they put it on the Ninja Force card, which I wouldn't have minded because it was pink and it would have been just
yeah,
something special and different and fun, then you got to kind of replicate. To me, if you're doing retro card, you're either going to replicate the original or give us a Sunbow character. But this is obviously classified up. It's just
yeah.
too dissimilar from the original. And newness here though is that the compound bowstring is removable this time, and then he said that the kunais were placed in a different way on the outfit, so it would be more realistic. So they are kind of taking some liberties to make it more real and more classified.
Which they got to. They have to. I mean, they
I mean, they,
when they get into stupider stuff in this later years, they're gonna really have to stretch and change things
yeah,
to make it even palatable at all. You know, I think like, you know what I mean?
yeah,
This one's a border. It's not completely stupid, but you
yeah,
know,
right.
the way he had his knives on his leg as a kid, it's like, yeah, he'd stab himself. Yeah.
Right. So yeah, I like that they'll make like little adjustments at least, you know. Here's some other looks here too. So in the back.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can see those knives kind of pointing out now in the back, so they're not like gonna stab him when he
Yeah.
comes down. And but yeah, everything looks pretty good from the the still photography now, and definitely the images from Mr. Joshi. So, and here's a box image. We're not getting any Easter eggs in the back anymore. I mean, we got a couple here and there. We're gonna talk about one later on that just hit today, a big time Easter egg. But otherwise, overall, the back of the box is pretty much just photography. I mean, kind of you don't really see many of those Easter eggs anymore, huh?
I missed that. That was great.
I think the problem is too many people like us or me or whatever. I don't want to blame you, but like we're like, hey, there's a snow cat in the background. It's official. Like we were like running with it. With some of these things that were like O-rings that they were putting in the background just to kind of add some flavor, and we were like classified.
Yeah. That's some fun. That's all fun. Why not do it?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, the bridge layer is official.
Yeah.
Like that was part of the background too. But yeah, some of these more promo night shots, and then yeah, this gives it the ninja feel. So because we saw the street setting with Dreadnoks before, so it's nice that yeah, if you're gonna make him Ninja Force, give him a reason. And we all know Zartan's origin, so this kind of works with that, right?
Yeah, he looks great.
Cool. And just a couple more images here. Yeah, good stuff. Oh, see, I want to kind of get a closer look at that bow. Yes, that bow is kind of like somewhat reused, but somewhat, new with the string, huh?
Hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, the jacket looks really good too. The more I look at it, I'm like, this
Oh yeah.
has no right being this good.
Yeah.
All right. Next up, a guy I was never excited for, but they did it. Norman Osborn is back as
Yeah.
airtight. Um,
He's
the
got a
Green
vacuum
Goblin.
cleaner.
What was that?
He's got a vacuum cleaner. I mean, he's just not the most
Yeah,
exciting. Everybody's really excited about him because I think they have like severe nostalgia for him, but
right.
he's not. He was never like one of my favorites. He's got a vacuum cleaner. That's but what actually makes me excited is the hair. They cartooned
Right.
him up. That's awesome.
Oh yeah, for sure. And I think that's what classified is. They're going to take all forms of Joe. Sometimes, to a fault, they'll be two one-on-one. I mean, we've seen like Quick Kick and Zorano, which are amazing figures, but then they're just pretty much retro carded and thrown in
Yeah.
classified. But some of these, like they do live, they'll pull from Sunbow or they'll add some newness to it or some realness. So the helmet looks really great. I've never been a fan of like yellow, it seemed like yellow
Yeah.
characters or yellow figures seems dull, but it does. If they change the color, it would be up in arms. So they had to kind of live on that. But I think overall they did a nice job. And there's the hair, there's the look. Yeah, you could snap off that head and just throw it on Green Goblin.
Oh yeah, totally. Yeah. Now I kind of with wetsuit they could have had because he had like a little fro action. He had like
Oh yeah.
a tight fro going on in the cartoon, and they didn't do that. It was a little disappointing. So that's the fact they gave him the look from the cartoon here that's like the
Right.
selling point for me.
Nice. Yeah, I like how they just put his big face here there with the receding hairline on the right, like just in the back. I don't think we've seen like a whole face on the back of the package before, so pretty funny there. Yeah, overall looks good. Not a whole lot to him, but they did give him the Nintendo Switch pull down or Game Gear on the chest, so that's cool. The articulated one. I don't know if we got a picture of it or not, but
Yeah,
there's
that's
some
really
in
cool.
booth shots from New York.
Yeah, I got excited about him after watching a couple people's videos because he does look
Mhm.
pretty great.
Yeah, the black accents always help the figures, like we saw with Blowtorch, and kind of just blacking up the zipper, the knee pads, and everything helps. And there's a good look right there. And then okay, Hydro Viper is next. You did not pre-order a Hydro Viper though. Come on, what's wrong with you, dude?
Because
Seriously,
you're just gonna be able to get them. I don't think you think you're gonna need to pre-order them. I think
builders. Sometimes builders that are not yellow ketchup and mustard divers. I don't know. They're not always that easy to find.
maybe. I feel like I'm gonna be able to walk into a Walmart and get them, but yeah, maybe I'll do him because I definitely want 3 of these guys because this is one of
Yeah,
my
if I
absolute.
were you, I'd pre-order. They're not going to charge you anyway. But I mean, this might be the winner. I know I was fooling around in my GIJoe ranking and giving the mystery character the number one, and then we'll talk about him in a bit. But as far as just kind of nailing the origin, but classifying it up and keeping it creepy, keeping it modern, keeping it not so silly, more scary, they
Yeah,
did it.
I love this figure. This was one of my favorites as a kid too. Just like such a cool figure.
And before I get destroyed in the comments, is it a manta ray or a devil ray?
It's a Devil Ray.
So devil ray, I guess you could tell by the horns, right?
Yeah, I just know
On the
because
head there.
I did a video ranking all the pets, and I fucked up a bunch of them, but and I was corrected multiple times, and that's how I know it's a Devil Ray. So
Lot of National Geographic fans in the comments, always in the Joe community.
love.
I love first what they did was you mentioned wetsuit. Those flippers, we were like, oh no, they ruined wetsuits flippers because they're just going to reuse these, and then they never even. It was kind of like almost like trolling in a way. They kind of like gave us a little bit of hint of Hydro Viper, and we thought they would just be instant reuse, and these were just way bigger and crazier. The flippers.
Yeah. So what is the point of wetsuits weird ass flippers? I don't know. It's cool though. I'll take it.
Maybe we'll get a. That's a good question. That'd be something I'd have to ask Lenny and BMAC and all them. I like underneath the Devil Ray that faded stomach, the belly there with the paint. They did a great job with that wash.
Yeah, that thing's cool. I love the eyes. That's my favorite thing about this figure.
Yeah, we'll get a good look. Oh, the eyes on the unmasked eyes, or the both really. They both look
Yeah.
good.
Yeah, on the mask. I think I'll probably for me he's gonna always have the mask on because it's a head.
Right.
So swapping heads definitely is just gonna be having that mask on.
Mhm.
But and that so that's great. But because he is supposed to be like really fucked up from the surgery that he's had that turns him
Mhm.
into a whatever. He's like clammy.
Did you hear what Lenny said about the helmet that they were gonna? Well, it's a whole swappable head because originally they were gonna do a helmet. And it was just way too big. So at
Yeah.
least they were like smart enough to like keep it in scale and just probably eat a little bit of the expense and the tooling to just give us the separate head, or maybe even it's easier probably than just throwing on a helmet anyway. That probably would have cost them more to have to mold that out. So I'm super thrilled with the decision. I'm always a fan of like, if you want to keep the sunglasses on one head and then not have to give us like crooked sunglasses and stuff. Same thing with this helmet. You don't want something wonky and big and messed up.
Oh, that would be great if they would stop giving us stupid sunglasses and give us heads with sunglasses. I'd be thrilled because like
Right. Right.
all the dreadnoughts, except for Torch, they all have sunglasses that fall off constantly, and then they don't look like themselves. It's
Right.
just so
Like
stupid.
this guy in the review, I had my fun with the sunglasses. I am happy to report that Lifeline's glasses, sunny glasses are not so bad as normal, but look how they're like sticking way out. You kind of have to
Mm.
cheat it and finagle with it sometimes. So yeah, so I've glasses with toys between WWE and Joe haven't been so kind to me, or I haven't been so kind to them in my reviews with the glasses. But I'm glad for this decision to give us the two separate heads, and then just look at those flippers. They're just massive.
Oh yeah. I like how that little gun goes in his holster. He's got a holster for that. That's cool. He's got a holster for everything. Looks like he can hold everything.
That's key to me. Is I probably here's a spoiler for my ranking if you missed it, but Night Viper's gigantic Gaboon sniper that you can't put it anywhere. That's a problem for me. Is like, well, why do you give him a pistol and a knife, and then where's the rifle going to go on the ground? Like,
Mm.
there's no case, there's nowhere to strap it to the backpack. So sometimes, so I get it. Sometimes adding that extra peg goes over the budget, and then it becomes a problem. But yeah, I've never been a fan of not being able to pack out I don't mind the extra hands. I don't need to pack that in, but all the accessories, weapons, I definitely want to have included in the backpack, somewhere stashed away.
Yeah. Well, that's the original Night Viper had, which was really stupid. He had the leg strap for the rifle. Remember that? He had like it pegged onto his
Mhm.
leg, which you'd never be able to walk with the fucking rifle on your leg. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, this guy's a badass, but you see I know we're going off on a tangent, but it's just a fun joke conversation. But yeah, see, the backpack's awesome. I love the antennas on it. Definitely
yeah.
cyberpunk feel, but then there's not even a clip. Like they could have put just a one little hook on the side just to get the gun in there, and it's just there's no functionality on it at all, like nothing.
Yeah.
So,
That would have been easy. Yeah. I don't know.
but great figure though, for sure. Getting back to Hydro Viper is a nice look. Look at all the detail on the helmet. Talk to me about what you see here on the screen, Mark.
Oh yeah, like the hand. He's got little suction cups on the
Oh,
hand.
good call. Yeah, right in the middle. It
Yeah,
looks like something could stick to that. Huh?
yeah, that's really cool. And he always looked like he had claws, so that's
Mhm.
kind of cool. I always made him like scratch people, you know.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, the mask is so detailed. It's just
So
really,
frightening. It's so
yeah,
great. Yeah, it definitely captured the horror of the deep, and just love the scaling on the torso too. So all the piping and the ridging on the vents and everything. Yeah, really sick. Just even the arm guards have like all the little rivets and everything. And man, they put a lot of money into this figure. That's for sure.
yeah.
So, moving along, we got these shots today. This was the stuff I added just before we talk live. So, we got some, professional photography. I'm sure it's from shooting the galaxy and underwater stuff, and kind of a look at how he is. He's with the Devil Ray. But the big news here was this next one. We got it looks like an image of Deep Six. It's a
Mm.
little blurry. Shout out to Full Force. He posted a closer upper in the middle. It's kind of hard to see, but what can you make anything out of this?
Yeah, no, it looks, and we know he's coming, so this is
Right,
probably like
right,
legitimately the figure, you know.
right,
He
right.
looks like he's gonna be able to move, which is big, because
Yeah.
the original Deep Six was, two points of articulation, or three if you
Oh
took
my God, two POA.
yeah.
Um, But yeah, no, it's cool to see him. So we finally did get an Easter egg. We don't get him, I guess, not on the back of the box, but here in the photography, they threw him way in the deep. But it's cool to see him, and he's got to be coming pretty soon, probably in the next wave, not the wave we pre-ordered today, but the next one. So keep your eye out on that. Okay, next pre-order up.
Oh yeah.
Overkill. And now we're starting to polarize our Joe audience here, because we're getting 90s. They got Cyborg, and I know Lenny mentioned the backpack that this, because I think it had, what kind of use was that Overkill backpack? It was like something different and crazy, right?
Yeah, he was ridiculously large, and you had to, you hit the buttons and it made sounds, but he
Right.
had a robot voice, which he shouldn't, because he's I guess he's a human now, but
Yeah.
So yeah, the backpack was ridiculous, you know. But
Right. So they replaced it with this big Gatling gun. He called it very cyberpunk. I mean, I do like adding the pink there, so that definitely gives it a little bit of futuristic. But it's funny because this is the kind of stuff we got when Classified first came out, and they got crucified for it. And here we are, 6 years later, where everybody wants everything now, and
yeah.
or at least a lot of people want them to get the monsters and some of the crazy stuff you talked about in your the deep throat reveals and stuff. So this is going over the edge for a lot of folks, but what about you? Overkill do it for you or what?
Oh yeah, yeah. So this isn't, to me, this is like only a slightly over the edge, and we've already jumped the shark with Cobra Law. So
Yeah,
I'm just over it. I'm okay with it. I loved the figure when I was a kid. He was cool. You know, he had little guns flopping out of his chest. They did a really cool thing with him here where they made it look like a cobra, or like a cobra or snake symbol. So when he
yeah.
opens up, so he's definitely better. He captures the spirit of the original. They could have tamped down the colors a bit more. I think for me personally, I would have
Yeah.
preferred even less color, you know,
Mhm.
because he just still looks really silly, you know. But
Yeah, so here's the comparison and about the colors. Yeah, when I saw the New York Toy Fair stuff and he was near Zartan, as I mentioned, that yellow was super bright on Overkill
Mm.
compared to the lime green or whatever you want to call it. But yeah, overall it's pretty close to the original. And then there's that giant backpack you mentioned. And shout to my guy Rolo, DJ Rolo. He grabbed the and he's a New Bedford guy too.
Oh,
So him and I, Rolo we used to go to Providence to Lupo's and watch like Atmosphere and underground hip
oh
hop and
shit,
stuff.
yeah, yeah.
Shout to him, and him and I have been reconnecting, and he told me grabbed an Overkill OG figure today. So that was I wanted to shout him out. But here's a look at in package and then the back of the box. He actually looks super cool on that picture on the right. Kind of maybe just the way they placed him, it feels pretty sick.
My favorite thing is the face. The fact that the faceplate comes off, you got a guy underneath there.
Mhm.
That's a real selling point for me at this point.
Right.
You know.
Yeah, and then the removable blades too.
Mm.
So over here, those blades and one articulates actually. So
Oh, shit.
which is sick. So it got the blade claws. Unlike the bat, you get the blade kind of. We've seen third party people do it for the bats, but then when it comes to the blade claws, we haven't seen. So pretty much a lot of newness, all newness here. And then of course the chest, the snake opens and reveals twin cannons there, and then you could see the porthole for blast effects.
Yeah, so great. And you see the new lore? They had some like new lore, added some new lore to them. I think it
Mhm.
was on Full Force podcast to not be the to talk about where we got it. But the guy was who writes the lore was on in the chat, and he said
Okay.
something about like the bat, like he like loves his bats and he names them and shit. So like he's got like affection for the bats that are around him that he commands. That's like kind of cool. Oh yeah, there it is too.
Yeah. Yeah, crazy. So yeah, we were gonna talk about file cards at the end, but while I have this one here, yeah, they got the whole thing. And I mean, might as well just talk about this now, just segue it in.
Oh
File
sure.
cards. You are you pleased with it? I mean, do you think there should be a designated home for it at least? Or like what's your thought on the whole file card craze that kind of happened within the last 24, 48 hours here?
Put them in the damn package, man. Like, what the fuck, you know? Like, just like
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
it's a piece of paper, you know what I mean? Like a piece of cardboard. What is it? A cent? Just put them in the damn package, and sorry they're in English. I guess that's the reason why they can't is because they'd have to put them in like 5 different languages. But whatever,
Mhm.
man. To me, the file cards were the best thing. At least we have them. I don't think
Right.
they don't seem to have a great storage place for information for classified. It would be great if there was one place you could go. You can go to Hasbro Pulse, but you're not going to see the old stuff they're not selling anymore. So that's
Right.
the thing is it needs to live somewhere where you can always read them if they're going to be digital. I don't
Yeah.
know.
Yeah, it's crazy to me that a billion-dollar company, multi-billion-dollar, trillion-dollar, whatever it is, like Hasbro can't have a damn website running. We had GIJoe.com and it had all these, remember this artwork of all these characters, and you thought you know, like we had Yakuza Storm Shadow. We had so many different characters, and like the Desert Scorpion on there looks nothing. It's the retro one. It doesn't look like the one we got now. So there was so many different characters on there that we either didn't get or they got modified versions. And then it was kind of exciting to pull from. And then that would have been a home. And now if you go to the QR code on the side of the box, it just takes you to the Hasbro website, which is like that generic Hasbro website, like the corporate website to go buy, you know, the shop and all that stuff. So yeah, there's no GIJoe.com with all these file cards and maybe some art from like Lenny's sketches. I've been wanting that for a long time, but I guess there's a lot of paperwork when it comes to this stuff, and the corporation doesn't make any money on it and they don't want to deal with it.
Yeah. I thought about doing it, but somebody could do it, you know, it wouldn't be that hard. But
if you do it, Mark, then you will be everybody's spirit animal. Yeah, those are big facts there. But we'll talk about some of these other characters as we go through the show. But I got to be a good YouTuber. We're 1 hour in to the show. We may have another hour left or so. So if you're new to the channel, maybe you're a fan of Destro as my spirit animal, you haven't been on a toy kind of mood yet, check us out, man. Give us a like and subscribe, and leave a comment. Hang out with us. Check out what we got. And actually, if you're the same thing, if you're a member, a fan, a follower of a toy kind of mood, and you haven't seen my guy over here, makes amazing content, some of the best in the Joe community, if not the best right now. Go check out his channel. Go subscribe to Destro is my spirit animal. Go find him on Instagram, and we'll pull up your socials later too as well. But yeah, I really appreciate having you on. It's been a good time. Just to kind of pick up what we got. No, not him yet. That's a spoiler for later. But just to clean up what we got with Overkill. Here's some different looks of Overkill over the years, and I'm glad they went with just the original, man. I don't know about what we see here. Devil's Due on the left and Sigma 6 on the right.
Yeah, they had a bunch of looks. He's had many looks. He had one where he had like a handkerchief over his face and like a blade arm. I don't even know. He's like one version, he's the Saw Viper that kills everybody, right?
Right, Robert Skelton. That's right. Yeah, that was in Devil's Due, actually, which is I believe that's the one that's on the left. If not in the comments, let me know. But Sigma 6 on the right. Valor versus Venom he appeared in. He was in the Talking Battle Commanders as well. So yeah, I mean, he's basically the cyborg leader of the Bats in most cases, but you know, he's got some different origins than others. So an interesting guy, if you will.
Yeah.
Cool, but I mean, hey, finally, we got our deluxe Wild Bill, our Native American bounty hunter. And yeah, it's quite neither of those actually. Come to find out, it's a Mexican bounty hunter by name is Sundown. There was all kind of rumored names from the community. Oh, I heard this and this, but it ended up being Sundown. Shout out to again Boots on the Ground, Adventures in Collecting and Full Force. All these people, Paternia, like that, are actually at the convention getting the real sauce, not just stuff from Chat GPT and Viper Island. You know, they're getting the real news. But here it is. So Sundown. Are you disappointed like some people? Are you happy to see new creations that Lenny is doing? And what do you think of the new lore that has nothing to do with anything?
I love this shit. I mean, first of all, in the lore, they talk about Headman, which means we're getting Headman someday soon. So I'm really happy about that because I love Headman. I think Headman would be really cool. But no, I think it's great. You know, you get new characters coming in from Lenny's created them. You got them in the Energon Universe, like Risk, you know, Chameleon. I want those in the line too. And yeah, you got to keep it fresh. There's some people who want every figure from the 80s, 90s. I do not, because some of the 90s ones are just absolute turds. Like, you know, like I don't want Robo Joe and
no, hell no.
You know, whatever. Eco Warrior. Some of the Eco Warriors are kind of lame, you know. I think rather than do that, I'd rather see them come up with new shit, you know, because you could always have new characters.
Right. Why not? And it fills a void too, because Lenny talked about hey, we got to get Travis in the line, and you know, I gave him a make it. Actually, the picture on the left is now real according to Diaper Moody. It's happening. The guy on the right, they're getting rid of that haircut. They want me, and I don't know, it looks nothing like me, but someone in the comments was like, hey, that's that you have your own figure. I'm like, no, that guy is way better looking and he's Spanish. But no, I want to have some fun there. But you know what it does? I don't know if you're a wrestling guy. You're a wrestling fan? Pro
I
wrestling guy?
was in the 80s, but I'm
All right.
not anymore. Yeah, I
All
appreciate it.
good. Well, I'm going to allow you to step in my squared circle for a little bit, for a second. But yo, this looks like my man a little bit at least. Andrade El Idolo. He was in the WWE on a couple occasions. He was married to Charlotte Flair. I'm sure you've heard of her, Ric Flair's daughter.
Okay, yeah.
But yeah, Andrade El Idolo. And I sent this to Tony Colello from Hasbro, the amazing painter and designer. And he said Andrade is classified, so I had to put that there. So yeah, funny thing. I mean, but look at this. He had the
Yeah.
cowboy. It's pretty close, pretty close. So not as chiseled in the face as like Sundown, but yeah. Shout out to Andrade. He's killing it over there in AEW. But as far as the figure itself, we got some nice looks here from both Forest, Paternia, and so forth. But what do you think about what we see? We got the Jaguar tattoo on the forearm and so forth.
Oh yeah, I love it. Yeah, everything. Great. Love the axe, tomahawk, or whatever, the knife, totally into it.
Yeah, and he is Mexican, so that's why I had him compared to Andrade because he's Alejandro Balam Luna Mendoza. So it's kind of funny he gave him all those names because it's very real. There you go. So it's right on the box. It's probably the longest name in the history of classified, something other to tilt their cowboy hat to. And then you got the back of the box there, straight up in the desert. So pretty neat.
Yeah, it's great.
And then moving on. Part of the lore too is that Balam is that jaguar that we talked about on the forearm, and then that with the tat. It almost look at the cape, man. I don't know if you're a football fan, but it's kind of getting some Jacksonville Jaguars colors on there too. So you said the Balam is the jaguar, and he basically hunts at sundown like a jaguar. So that's the connection there.
Nice. That's great. Yeah, I love it.
Yeah. And then he's hunting the headman. So hey, we know this is official because it's in the card. They're not going to start naming characters from GIJoe lore and not making their figure, right?
They gotta make him. I'm so happy they're gonna make this guy. I hope he comes with a little crack. Spark actually is what it's called in the cartoon.
Oh my goodness!
He needs to come with some spark.
I don't know, with corporate Hasbro, you think we'll see stuff that resembles any kind of drugs?
No. Yeah. I'll make some, man. You're gonna have some 3D people on Etsy. You'll be able to get spark.
Right. That would be funny. 3D printed spark.
Yeah.
And not from Transformers either. But here's the deal, right? So this guy, as much as a mobster and mafia, he definitely has more of that old school like the dastardly evil guy that would be on the railroad track putting a woman there, and a cowboy would come in and kick his butt. So it kind of does fit here.
He's the Hamburglar. In other words, he's a pimp and a Hamburglar all wrapped in one.
Yeah, he was in the 92 figure. He was in Deep. And I guess Hedman kidnapped. The story is he kidnapped Sundown's brother, who's kind of a politician and whatnot. And then also, Sundown from Cops. So no relation. BMAC officially said this today, but he said, go check out the file card if you want the real news. But it's got to be some kind of inspiration with the same name, and it's the 80s toy, right?
Especially since Cops, we have Bulletproof is, same name, very similar character, even though there is no connection between Bulletproof and Cops and Bulletproof and GIJoe. And then you got the whole, Wayne Sneed and his grandson is a Checkpoint, I think. Right? I think. Correct me on that.
I don't know if anyone would know. It would be you. I am thrilled about Bulletproof from not Operation Monster Wars, but from Big Bad Workshop. Are you collecting those? Are you dabbling in Operation Monster Force or anything from BBWS?
I haven't yet, but I'm very much on the. I'm thinking about it. Yeah, are you buying them?
I'm gonna get Bulletproof at least. But the problem with getting him is that then you're gonna have to get all of them, right?
Yeah.
So you can't just get like one. So you're nose diving in. But I think at first I got to get him because during Joe Fest when they announced it last year, I started watching the cartoon on YouTube and
Oh
Tubi
yeah.
like crazy. So I was like, at least I got to get just the iconic guy, maybe as a desk toy. That's my excuse to buy one
Mm,
figure from a line. Is he's on the desk,
yeah.
so he's not on the shelf. He's on the desk. So we'll see. But
I
yeah,
still
some
have
more
mine.
looks at what's up.
I still have all my cops. And
Really, you got all the cops. I
the,
never had that as a kid. You know, to be
the
honest, I didn't know much about.
caps still work, man. I pulled them out of storage.
No kidding.
Still fire, yeah.
That's
Unbelievable.
crazy. Crazy. So they said that the swappable hair. So for the hat, so that way it works out well and it's not droopy and loopy there. So you do get one face, but at least you take the hair out, put the hat on, and then they color the cape topaz color there. So there's some nice looks, some nice close-ups, and yeah. Any last thoughts on Sundown and before we move on?
Nah, I'm loving it though. What about you? Loving it?
I am, and I love this. I mean, I got now I'm digging myself into some lore here because he talked about the art on the back of the cape. Like they're putting so much thought and effort into this. They're not just, hey, let's just make a cowboy, make him look cool. They're doing like the art on the back of the topaz colored cape is depicting, Mayan twins fighting the false macaw god and who claimed to be like the sun and the moon
Oh
and all that.
shit.
And now I'm like, this is stuff I didn't know about. So now I'm like, they're teaching me through toys. It's
That's
kind of
cool.
cool.
That's really cool.
So yeah, they're I think Lenny and the team are they're taking their time, but they're doing a good job. And hey, if this wasn't what you grew up with and you don't want it, hey, it's $28 plus tax you save. So
I don't care about what I grew up with. I have what I grew up with. So for me, it's like I like the new lore, like let's
mm,
get into the new stuff. I mean, it's been going on for the comics, been creating great shit for 20, even like Devils. Some of the Devils do stuff. Like actually, Zanya is a Devils do character, really.
right.
And she's
Good
great.
good segue there. And I think
Yeah.
we're gonna start to see Energon. I think at Comic-Con makes sense because we're gonna have further at least announcement of that show, right? The Energon
Mm.
show that Kirkman and friends are working on. Um, And then, obviously the comics are, they're just killing it with the Dreadnought War and everything. So I think that's when we'll finally see a classified Energon figure. Maybe we'll get one. I would do one in a wave. I wouldn't do a whole wave of a comic line
Yeah.
because we saw what happened with Snake Eyes movie figures, right?
Yeah. Well, that movie sucks so hard that you have to, you know.
I know, but here's the deal: like movies are even more popular than
Yeah.
comics. So if you're going to come out with
I
a
don't-
whole wave based on a comic, that's even more niche than a
Yeah, yeah,
movie.
yeah. Well, hopefully they'll classify them up too. They won't make it. I don't want them to do the like it looks like the cartoon, it looks like the comic. I want them to do their version of a character. That's what I'm
Right.
hoping.
Okay, so kind of be inspired by Energon, but still classify it up. But then again, a lot of characters in Energon are from the classified line. At least their looks.
That's true. Yeah, because I guess the guy
So
is like
you could do 1-to-1 with Energon because it's basically kind of you're kind of sharing worlds there in a
that's
way.
true. That's true. Yeah.
But what's cool is, I mean, at least this is what they tell us, and I guess I believe it. But they'll say like things will just happen. They're not calling like the artists or writers and saying, "Hey, use this," or like there's no like deal. They're just like fans of each other,
Yeah.
and they're somehow taking like classified will see things in the comic and be like, we got to bring this to the toys. And then obviously the comic started with the classified line. So I think it's kind of cool how they inspire each other, but they're not like it's not a direct partnership. They kind of leave each other alone.
Yeah. But I have heard the writer is like a room full of classified that when he's doing his writing, he's just like surrounded by it all around his
Mhm.
desk. So that's cool.
Just like us,
Yeah.
especially after we get a few of these Anya builders here. So the Chameleon Swamp skiers here looks great in person. We'll show you those Toy Fair shots. But what are you thinking about what we got with the multiple looks? And what do you think of the decision to have Zanya included in this instead of I saw some comments, oh, it's not Zartan, this and that. So
Well, how many Zartans are you gonna have? It's kind of
yeah.
gets a little sickening
Yep.
after a while. So, and then it does make sense if you're gonna. I don't really know that I'll troop build with her, but if you're gonna troop build, then that you make some sense. But I'm like, I love the character. I'm a big fan of the character. I was actually
Right.
asking them to come out with Zanya in videos for like years. So I think she's
Nice.
they could have given her a I think every dreadnought needs to have a power tool based weapon. Some sort of weird distinct weapon. That's my only complaint. I don't know what it is. Give her something, because she doesn't have one in the comic or anything, but give her some weird ass power tool weapon.
Oh, like a power tool type. Yeah, I get
Yeah,
what you're saying.
yeah,
Like a buzzsaw, ripper. Yeah, it makes
yeah.
sense. Yeah, for
Something.
sure. Like a blowtorch. Yeah, everything. So she's kind of just a little too modern for her uncles, I guess.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, overall looks pretty good. There's the box shot right there. Um, I mean, and then I know you haven't been watching wrestling around, but man, she feels inspired. These guys are wrestling fans, Lenny and Tony at the end of the day, and Shotzi Blackheart. I know she wasn't in WWE too long. She was mostly in NXT, but I mean, just seeing pictures like this, I'm like, well,
Oh yeah.
I'm seeing a
Yeah.
similarity. Oh, look at this. I mean, I saw this, I'm like, holy shit. Oh, it's freaking Robert Stone. And then I mean, it's pretty close. Look at the gear, everything.
Oh
She's
yeah.
very dreadnought like. So
Yeah. Again, I'll take an action figure of her.
yeah, there you go.
If
WWE Mattel made a few, but all right. So here's a look at the weapons here and the sculpts. I love the hockey mask, right, with the cornrows.
Yeah. It's great.
And then you got welding goggles. You got the and then they called it like an old like tank driver helmet or something like that.
Yeah, she reminds me of Tank Girl. You know that movie?
Right. Good call there.
He's movie.
Got wrapped hands there too. They got wraps on the hands, so
Yeah.
pretty sick. All right, and then moving on to the next one. This one's, you know, a lot of people are upset with Taurus's size. How do you feel about that?
I mean, I haven't seen him in person. I mean, Red Dog should just be a lot bigger than him. I think they should have made Red Dog like the biggest figure, like huge. He's
Right.
Samoan, what's the guy gonna do? He's Samoan,
Well,
they should have made him huge.
they did say he was a kicker.
That's true.
Like he was a kicker who got in trouble and banned from football for unnecessary roughness. So kickers are not usually that massive, but it kind of shows his mean streak that he was a kicker and
Yeah.
got kicked out for unnecessary. So I don't know if you want to make him like Fridge's size or road pick size. So I see what you're saying, because in the cartoon movie, he's a pretty husky boy and he's a football player, but their story is that he's a mean, he's a kicker, so he's precise and everything, but he has a mean streak in it.
Yeah. Just the Samoan thing going, But I love his Samoan weapons. That's really cool, into
Yep.
that.
Yeah, because at first when I saw the render without hearing the story, I'm just like, they're just looking like weird brown weapons. But when then you say they're actual Samoan weapons, then I'm like, okay, I dig it, and it matches the belt and the boots and everything, especially the boots. So I'm like, okay, that works for me. That's cool. And then they got it looks like they got that big hand that went around the basketball big lob too. So
Yeah.
that's without the ball in it. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, this is great. I think that's totally fun. Yeah.
I think it's another set too that just looks way better than the Joe Day reveal. Because remember, Joe Day reveal, bro, we only got the renders. We didn't get all this stuff. So now that I actually see, the in-package shots, the in-person shots, like some of this stuff just looks way better. And like it's so crazy that we'll judge renders and be like, this is kind of disappointing. And then you see this and you're like, all right, I'm kind of feeling it.
Yeah, totally.
Back of the box there. You see anything? I'm not seeing.
What does that sign read? I can barely see it. I have to put my glasses on.
The Slaughter Boys or the Slaughterhouse. Slaughterhouse. The Slaughterhouse.
That's the training grounds from the movie. So that's cool. Yeah, nice.
And then I didn't notice his football does come with a place kicker. thing.
Yeah,
Oh, there
yeah.
it is. It's red. Okay, yeah, I didn't even notice that. I know they said he was a kicker and the ball was on the ground, but now I can actually see it without the ball on it. So that's cool.
That stuff. I don't know. No use for that. No use for that. But
Yeah, and then Taurus, they talked about his Turkish weapons and that he's an acrobatic. So I guess the fact that he's the smallest of the three guys, Mercer got made fun of to death because he wasn't Energon sized, but I guess making him not so big makes sense if he's an acrobatic.
yeah, and those Turkish weapons are great. That's cool. They were boring. The original 3-pack was boring. Like the one from the 80s. It just wasn't that
Yeah.
fun. It just all they they came with a gun each, and they just didn't they were lacking, so I think finally they got weapons because they had these similar, like I know Taurus had the scimitar in a movie, I believe. I feel like Red Dog may have had one of those or something like that, like a hammer, or I don't even know what it is. Maybe I
Well,
just remember
I
the
was gonna
Taurus.
say, let us know in the chat right now, what weapon it was that Red Dog was getting, that had as a kid.
Yeah.
So the jewelry is removable too. So the bracelets, I got like almost like a Wonder Woman kind of bracelet. I don't mean that in a bad way. I mean, she's a badass, but you got that like gold bracelets, and I don't know. I don't think the headband that looks molded on. I don't think that comes. I think that's painted or molded. Doesn't look like that comes off. The shark tooth necklace will come off.
Yeah.
So you just pop the head off, and then man, I'm just starting to really notice this now. I didn't really have time to study these images, but Taurus's fist gloves, like the almost like titanium metal, like Game of Thrones kind of
Oh,
got,
yeah.
like hand glove. The detail looks crazy.
Yeah, these are great.
All right, and then this other one, we didn't get any pre-order information at all or any in packaging. This was kind of a surprise where it was we got the lunchbox error snake eyes, so it's not
Okay.
it's not from Resolute, it's not whatever, it's not Dollar General, because I think I got pictures of those too, or I have them on the next page after, but then we got this thing where it's a 4-pack, like a two pack of vehicles. We haven't gotten a versus pack with vehicles yet. How do you feel about this, man?
Oh, I don't want it. It's just this is just repaint shit and trying to package it to me and
Right.
another fucking snake eyes. Come on. Like really? Like how many snake eyes do I need? And
I
I
know.
need
And the thing
snake
is, it's a lunchbox error snake eyes. It's not like one that we've even talked about on our show before. And we had a whole show dedicated to all the snake eyes that we don't have yet. And here's one they found that we did not. Yeah, it's just kind of wild.
And then if they're gonna give us new snake eyes, give us a version 2 because we haven't had a good version 2 snake eyes since the first figure, and
The
those
kunai,
figures are
right? The
fragile.
kunai across the chest.
Oh, the version 3. Yeah, I mean, like the just have the regular version 2, like because it was the first figure they came out with, and it breaks. Mine broke. So
Oh, you mean 00? 00.
yeah, the original version 2 Snake Eyes. They don't have like this is yet another version 1. We haven't gotten like a good version 2. Like we've got Desert version 2 and stuff like that, but we need like a good solid reinvention of Snake Eyes in that.
I see what you're saying, kind of like how Marvel Legends will keep repeatedly give us Spider-Man and Wolverine, but at least in Cap, but they'll update like all the joints and give us butters and all that, double knees and solid joints.
If you're gonna do us another Snake Eyes, do that because this is because I don't know about you, but mine was really fragile because they just hadn't mastered what they were doing yet. It was year 1, and my ankle broke. He just kind of sucks. But I have no use for this. I have no use for a green ferret. I have no use for yet another teller. No, I don't buy everything. I don't need to buy this.
Okay, well, you read my mind. I was gonna ask you if you were all in on the line, but no, all in right here. You heard it first. Destro is a spirit animal, but the classified is not all in, and is so this image on the left is made up because for the life of me, I could not find I went on 3D Joe's, I went on Google for a long time looking for the lunchbox error of of what it was. And I know Circle of Jerks had an error picture today, but I don't know if that was because it was like blue. So I don't
Oh
know
yeah.
if that was it from the lunchbox. So I don't, that might have been it, but I kind of recolored the original here just to kind of see,
Oh
kind
yeah.
of poke fun as if that was it. But yeah, there's a look. And then okay, here's what people originally thought was you had Resolute Snake Eyes in the middle, at least the alternative version, and then you had the Dollar General on the right, and then you had a similar look because you got the green pants with the, at least a black outfit, but he does have a white visor. So you kind of take all three of these, and that's what you get.
Yeah, there's so many better Snake Eyes. They could be giving us other Snake Eyes that would be cooler, like give me Snake Eyes with an alternate head with his face is all scarred.
Oh, like Vietnam Snake Eyes, basically.
Or you're just like Snake Eyes unmasked, with his like
Unmasked, yeah.
it's like a hideous face, like scarred face. That would be awesome.
Right. That I've got a custom of that. I think that was from I Bet My Man thing, IBMMT on eBay and from the Foosh. He
Oh, nice.
does a lot of those faces. And then dude, what about Winter Snake Eyes? Like I mean, that was at least cool from the Rise of Cobra, right?
I take that. Yeah, Winter Snake Eyes would be actually pretty cool. Yeah, that would be like one I'd be interested in. But like this is just a repaint. It's just a repaint in dumb colors. You're never gonna use
And
it.
I had to take this Cobra Flight Trouble Bubble Stealth thing off of the original picture because dude, they placed this thing in front of the reddest Zartan picture ever. So if you try to look at the original pictures from New York Toy Fair, you cannot tell how maybe cool this looks because this looks so much better when you take it away from that background now. Because at least it looks like a 788 flight pod, and you got the red tinted because they Lenny talked about he wanted to tap into like 80s stealth with like the black and red glass, a black outfit, and then the red glass. So I kind of get it. If they have to come up with a repaint, it's pretty neat. I don't know. Like Trouble Bubbles were on clearance for a long time though, so I mean that's the only thing.
Yeah, I would just rather have a second Trouble Bubble. I'm just no interest for this.
Cool.
No.
All right, so that was stuff from New York Toy Fair, and then here's more of it. The Dire Tech Night Creeper. Here's another kind of just reuse thing. I kind of want to see it with the Night Creeper face on, but any thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, this is cool. I'm into this. I feel like this, they gave you so much extra shit with the Ghost Viper, but you can't get a Ghost Viper. So, like you were saying before, maybe I could grab 3 or 4 of these instead, because then you could get various heads. I don't know how it fits lore wise to have them be a Night Creeper, but it's kind of cool. Yeah.
Yeah, and you know what? It's Walmart, so if you can't get it, you don't really need this, right? So it's not like an essential. It's not like Serpentor, a Walmart exclusive or something like that, like a character you need. And then again, Crystal Ball was a character that they imagined no one wanting.
Yeah.
And then it was the craziest hard to get figure that all of 2025. And I think I even had to buy mine from like Australia to grab it. But eventually you could find them everywhere. But it took a really long time. I don't think people are gonna have problems with this, especially since it's kind of a one-off. So it's reuse of the same Cthulhu head that we got from Crystal Ball too, man.
Yeah, now I bought my Crystal Ball from Hasbro Pulse and I got it last. I bought it. I had it the second it went on sale, and I got it after everyone. I think I watched your video reviewing it about 3 months before I got mine, which is do not.
And I was late. I was late. I tossed it. Him and Heavy Duty. I threw in a ranking because I'm like nobody's gonna watch my reviews.
Yeah.
So I do like a ranking so that way they're forced to watch it. And then here's some looks from Toy Fair. I just really wish they would have shown two, one with the mask, so I can kind of see both instead of that just that same reuse head from Crystal Ball. But yeah, if you couldn't get Crystal Ball, you couldn't get a Ghost Viper, and it's not a bad consolation prize. And then Lenny said they went for the translucent reptilian arms or like his nightmare sauce. So that's pretty good. We haven't gotten translucent arms yet, right? Just like hands and heads, but not I don't think arms. That's new.
Yeah. So and I love Night Creepers, so I might even just grab a couple of these to have a different color Night Creeper and just keep the Cthulhu head off.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah, you're still gonna have the green arms. There's no
yeah. But that kind of works because Night Creepers are supposed to be tech ninjas, so they're supposed to have like extra technology and shit, but they don't, so that's kind of cool. I can get into that.
Yeah. Well, they are like, hey, Crystal Ball was the hottest thing last year. The Dire Wolves sold out fast. They were the hottest army builder. Let's keep building on that dire tech. Like, I mean, hey, if it sells, you got to run with it. I don't blame them for that. And then we've got a professional shot on the right, and there's a box image. But looking forward to it. All right, now this one really maybe even stole the show for me. It's a special forces, and like legacy stuff is like it's real world or it's a homage, but I mean this is sick. I mean this combines a Call of Duty kind of like old military Punisher. Some of this kind of the stuff that you make in a custom, or you see other companies doing some of the stuff like Monster Force with their Phantom Core. I don't know. What's your opinion on just kind of getting a legacy figure out of nowhere here? This wasn't one of the teases, right? The leaks.
Yeah, no, it was not. Yeah, I love this thing. This thing is great. I am hit or miss whether I get the legacy figures because they're not named characters. They don't pull nostalgia for me, but they are pretty great. They're all pretty great. So I might have to. This one I really like the look of, so I could definitely see getting a couple of these. Yeah.
Yeah, and I know Tony loves flexing his camo paint, job. You can see on the legs. I mean, this is some of the best work he's done, and he gets to get a new design in there. And I know one of the problems you can just tell from the end of the shirt, they don't camo paint the figures all the way, but that's what you're not going to get full paint like you do with the independent toys because they're mass produced, and they have to kind of cut corners and save on some of the costs every now and then. I'm not defending it. I'm just saying that's just kind of the way it is. But at least with this, you're getting multiple looks. The weapons look, very real, mil sim. Loving it. We got tons of pictures. Some of we got in-hand stuff. So some people had a problem with the RPG because that's more of like, an enemy kind of thing where it's, Russian KVG or like, Middle Eastern, like Taliban or something like that. But we got it on an American Special Forces hero. So I don't know if you had an opinion on that, but I just wanted to throw that out there.
Nah, I'm just glad they have an RPG. Yeah, because that's a great little weapon. We haven't had that yet.
You could use that for anybody, right? That you wanted to, like a not torpedo, but he's below, but like a bazooka or a short fuse or something like that.
Or give it to a Cobra, although it's a little green, but whatever.
For sure. And then we got some kind of action shots. We haven't really seen these, like where you get one shot from Matt Cohen and then the next one shows like an action. So that's we got a bunch of these in here, kind of seeing these legacy action. They call them action soldiers, so we might as well see some action in the shots.
Yeah, these things are great. This is great.
And then they got you could see they got the scarf over the face, with the mask too. So not just the painted voodoo kind of skull mask, but you also got like the painted, horns, the skull horns with with the horns coming out of the nose and the skull like on a cloth, like a kind of like a COVID mask, a cool COVID mask.
That's great.
Look at this. That looks like Frank Castle at work or Nick Fury or something like that from the military. So
these shots are great.
You could mix these in with your legends too if you want to tell old stories or like the old Vietnam stuff, or even though it's more modern warfare. I mean, you can find ways to reuse a lot of this or kit bash.
Definitely, yeah.
Yes. All right. Now we're finally landed. Hey, an hour and a half in, and we're hitting kind of like our prime topic of the day. But before we get into the main, should dinosaurs be in classified, let's just talk about the entry of the dinosaur. We got the Dinonachus, or what was that? Dinonachus? Nicus? Yeah, I think I got that right. You want to say it? You want to try it?
It's Dinonachus? I don't know.
Dinonachus. Yeah, I think that's it. Cool. And then we got Professor Rockclaw and the Cobra Dinonachus. And it's crazy. We got like another debut character in one setting. It's one thing to get like, hey, you got like what was it of Parma Wolf, the spider wolf is Val Palmer, or what, I forgot his name already. But oh, you got him, and then you got kind of like them creating army builder characters, but to get like a legit new name character twice, you know, with Sundown and then now Rockclaw. Do you think it's like going too fast with some of the new characters, or are you okay with the speed, or
I'm
how you
okay.
feel?
Yeah, no, this is fun. Yeah, it's totally fun. I mean, it's goofy to have dinosaurs,
Right.
but if you kind of get over it, you know, it's fun. I like the fact that it's a troop builder and you know, they're gonna force you to buy at least two of these because you swap ahead. Now you've got a soldier and the guy, which is great.
Right. I think that's smart. They did that with Zanya too. You know, they made sure to give her like a bunch of masks and stuff in case you do want to get a bunch of skiers,
Yeah.
you know, swamp skiers, chameleons, and you want, you know, you want a troop build, even if you don't want them to ride or drive the chameleon, you'll have those extra Zanyas as troops around with the skull masks and stuff, so, you know, the hockey masks. So at least they tried with that. And I think here the same thing. You want to have a bunch of Deinonychus, you know,
Yeah.
Velociraptors. You want to have a bunch of Velociraptors running around. You better have some army builders and not 17 rock claws. So that's cool that
Right.
they're doing that.
Yeah, it's pretty great.
Paleo Vipers. Paleo Vipers.
Paleo wipers, yeah. I could see me
Yeah.
getting three of these, getting one with him, his head, and then two vipers.
Exactly. I think that's the key there too. So even cooler, I mean, you got the helmet and jaw masks too, like to go over it.
Oh yeah, that's cool.
Helmet and horn, I should say, yeah. But you got that snaps right over the head.
Eh, yeah, that's great. And he's great looking. And I'd
And then you
seen
got
images of him earlier.
oh, you did.
Somebody had sent me images. I didn't know if they were
Okay.
real. It was actually somebody else had sent me
Mm.
images. I was like, oh, interesting. But yeah, it turned out to be real. So
Now look, if dinosaurs themselves should not exist in GIJoe Classified because they are extinct.
right,
They're
right.
extinct. So you should not have prehistoric. Let's just get that out of the way. You should not have prehistoric beings,
Yeah.
animals that are extinct in the line, because that doesn't make sense for anything unless it's Land of the Lost or Jurassic Park or whatever, right? But for this, it doesn't. But these are genetically enhanced and engineered by Dr. Mindbender.
Yeah.
So that is how you get around it. And look, it has the Cobra insignia there. I mean, it's totally mutated. There's a little deformities there. It's definitely dinosaur, but you know, they made it strange enough to take it away from a regular Deinonychus. And then you can see the back there. He's kind of go tunnel line, go sick the grunts that are hiding in the bushes. Go eat them alive. Um,
Now
yeah,
it's
there's
in some ways I can almost kind of go along with this more than I can Cobra Law, because it's like Cobra Law, you got to do a whole big leap and you have to say there's this civilization. They're actually working on shit like this right now. They are working on like
right.
resurrecting woolly mammoth or something. Oh, and dire wolves. They actually I think they did the dire wolf, in fact, if I'm not mistaken. But they have actually recreated a dire wolf, found the DNA, somehow birthed the dire wolf, I think, or they're working
Is
on it.
that where we got the dire tech wolves and stuff in the Ghost Viper? Is that because they've done it? Lenny is a key, you know, he's a king of this
Maybe.
research
I don't
stuff.
know. Yeah.
So you know, he's a smart guy, but I think a lot of this stuff is stuff he's discovering himself too and being inspired by. So there you can see there's that handle that was the was that your guess too when you saw the, you know, like the
Oh,
pet
yeah.
handle? Yeah, well, was that your guess that it would be a dinosaur, or did you have any other guesses?
No one would guess that it was a dinosaur. I think that's ridiculous. So that was like, I think, did anybody guess the dinosaur? Because
I mean, I watched some of the interviews with the Hasbro team at Toy Fair, and they were like, they couldn't believe that people had guessed. And I'm
I don't
like,
think people guessed. I think people got the under the hand information that it was a dinosaur. Because I was like, I thought it was gonna be Night Adder. You know, Night Adder.
that was who we talked about in a Toy Kind of
Yeah.
Mood that day or the next day. We put Night Adder all over our art and everything. We're like, he's coming.
Yeah, and he'd be great. I would love a Night Adder. So
Yeah.
that would have made sense to me. The dinosaur I would never predicted, because there was no. I mean, they had the Dino Hunter set, but that was that really bad dinosaur. And so this is no real precedence for this. So I don't know how anybody would guess dinosaur. It's also stupid. It's really stupid. You know, I mean, like I'm going with it. It's fun. I'm like, you know, we talk about like my kids, they'll gravitate towards this guy. This will be one of their favorites. You know what I mean? Like, we'll go, oh, it's stupid. I wish it was more military or realistic, but my kids will be like, nah, give me the dinosaur guy. You know,
but that's my point, right? So we talked about Playmates and the Turtles, and then we talked about Energon, we talked about comics, anime, but dinosaurs, man, that's just another, it's another way to at least attempt. I'm not saying any of these attempts, whether it's Playmates, Turtles, anime, you know, Energon, can get kids into Joe, but it's a great attempt to throw dinosaurs in there. Would you agree? Or
I think it's sure, it's fun. I don't know if any kids, I feel like they're just too expensive. So I feel like if you have kids, you take your kids to the toy store, you don't want to be spending $28 on your kid. You'll spend it on yourself, you know.
Yeah.
So
I love this meme from my man Chaz. Shout out to Chaz the Guru, probably watching this right now. GIJoe collectors who didn't mind Cobra Lab Magic, which you talked about just now. Fatal Fluffies, which were part of that, you know, the deep throat thing, and Reincarnation, drawing the line at miniature dinosaurs. This was just such a classic, another classic in the books for Chaz, the Guru. Shout to him. But yeah, it's true. I mean, come on, we can do, if Dr. Mindbender can, you know, he could do anything. We've seen him bring back Genghis Khan and Real American Hero. So I'm sure he had no problem bringing back dinosaurs.
Now, is it a smart idea to bring down dinosaurs? No, it's really. You think about it, what are you going to do with that thing? It's like, okay, it comes after you and you blow its brains out. You know, like it's like you have guns. Guns are more effective.
Well, you're not going to blow its brains out when it's got that horned metal, vibranium, adamantium mask.
It's not the most efficient use of their Cobra money. You know, like my Mindbender's just blowing their money. He's just blowing Cobra money.
That's pretty good. And then look, Dino. Some guy got really mad at me for you know, being, you know, people get mad at me all the time, as people get mad at you, right? YouTubers, you know, it happens. But I said, oh look, they announced the Dino Hunters. And look, the first thing when you see dinos in GIJoe, the first thing you're gonna type is Dino Hunters. It doesn't matter if it's official, it's just it's the representation of dinosaurs in GIJoe. There's none other, really. I mean, in toy form. And so when I put that, I didn't mean it was exactly 100% one-to-one this, or they didn't label it Dino Hunter. It was like, hey, there's dinos that are hunting. I mean, come on.
Right. Well, that's what, like, I think when they announced it, they said it's this is the hint is we've had something like this before. They even said with the collar, which is like not really true. You know what I mean? So it's like it is a reference to this Dino Hunter set. So, you know, which is one of the worst things they ever made. Because that dinosaur sucks so hard. He's not even a good, like, you get to those like plastic dinosaurs, you would be thrilled with those. Remember, you had a kid, you'd get those, they were awesome. This was not even that. He had no arms. He sucked.
I grabbed, do you remember that Raptor or a Tyrannosaurus Rex rather that went on sale? It was a Hammond collection one that went on sale like infamously like 2 or 3 years ago. And he's massive, he's this big. And he was cheap on Amazon, like dirt cheap. Like, I don't even know, it was like $11 or $8 or maybe 13. I don't know what it was. It was cheap enough to like grab one. And I threw it in classified. Like, I just had it on my shelf, but it was, I don't think I have it there now, but it was like literally like, am I set up with all the vehicles? I just had it chilling there, like just ready to go. I mean, whatever. It's GIJoe. We talked about all the crazy stuff. And that's what makes GIJoe is that there's nothing off the table. And that's what they wanted to do with classified. There's nothing off this. They told us that, and we were like, whatever, that's just a corporate answer. No, there's literally nothing off the table with GIJoe. I mean, look, we got a false error sticker Snake Eyes.
Yeah.
Like they're going to all places. That sooner or later we're gonna get that repaint of sci-fi from Operation Blackout, a game that only you and I played.
Yeah.
Like literally, come on.
Maybe, man. I don't know.
I mean, look at that face. Who wouldn't love?
Why didn't they do Velociraptor either? Like, what is this?
It's a cousin. They said it was related to a velociraptor.
Okay.
That's
Is it
why they went with Deinonychus, and they said it was more vicious and bigger. So
oh,
that's why they went with this. Yeah,
fair enough, fair enough.
bigger is better, and
Yeah.
more vicious is better too. And obviously, that would be a dino that you'd want to use in battle situations, is one that's even more violent. So
My guess was they just ripped this off of the Jurassic World collection, but this is not the case, correct? This is a complete new sculpt of a dinosaur. Do we know?
someone in the comments help us or in
Yeah.
live chat right now, because
Is it
I'm not going to get into paleontology or whatever with people. I don't know.
doesn't it feel like Hasbro would do that? They'd be like, hey, this Jurassic World dinosaur sold like shit. Can you throw them in classified, make some money?
Right.
That's a
Like
Hasbro move.
hey, Mattel and Hasbro have been crossing over. We've seen Barbie and Transformers. We've seen, we're starting to see Matchbox and GI Joe, right? So yeah, maybe. But yeah, I mean, this is fun. And again, at the end of the day, you don't have to get it. If you don't think dinosaurs belong in classified, even if they're genetically enhanced from Mindbender, you don't have to get it. No one's
100%.
forcing you.
Yeah.
No one's forcing you. I mean, I think at the end of the day, just to put a cherry on it for dinosaurs, I mean, they shouldn't exist in the prehistoric state, but how should they exist to you? I mean, you seem like you have a fondness for this. We're having fun talking about it. How do you think it's just kind of, as long as they're creative, or how do you feel like in lore? And how about in lore, total lore, or just GI Joe Classified itself with dinos? Just a last statement on.
I think it kind of works because, like I said, they are experimenting. This is not that far off in technology. So I feel like what I love when GI Joe is like just like it's like 15 years in the future, they'll probably have this, So it's
Mhm.
like when we first had like lasers, that was the first thing we had, lasers in the jump jetpack. Those are things that they didn't have in the army necessarily, but certainly are believable, And then they have the bats, and that's totally we basically have the bats now, some version of
Right.
that. We've seen them; they're terrifying, and they are doing things where they're resurrecting shit and bringing back the woolly mammoth and trying to do things like that. I don't think they've successfully
Right.
done it, but they're thinking about it. They're trying.
Right.
They clone the sheep. They
So it's
clone.
not completely out of the realm of comprehension, as long as they're not the extinct dinosaurs, but if there's some genetically enhanced or resurrected or something that has to do with some kind of biochemical or artificial intelligence or cybernetics. Like if it involves any of those,
Yeah.
it's possible.
It's honestly not that it's pretty possible at this point I think. I mean, I'm obviously talking
Yeah.
about my ass, but it's at least possible enough that you're in a ridiculous fantasy military thing. You can believe they would do it, like if they brought back the direwolves, why can't they bring back Deinonychus or whatever it is? It's
Right.
and would Mindbender do it? Absolutely, because he says no ethics. That's the thing, is like Cobra has no ethics about science,
No.
It makes more sense than Cobra La. Cobra La is, totally, that's, that you have to do like 1,000 leaps to get to, but it's fun. Who cares?
Yeah. And I think we've come full circle. I mean, I'm going to grab your whiskey score, a famed whiskey score for New York Toy Fair, and then we'll talk about, what you got coming up next. But I think we started with Playmates and the TMNT crossover. We talked about Energon. We touched upon that. We talked about dinosaurs and cowboys. And I mean, it's just like expanding GI Joe to all these possibilities, because GI Joe has been kind of dead media for a long time. Not counting comics, like it's been around for comics, but I mean, like the movies come and go. We haven't gotten any really good cartoons or any cartoons ever, like in a long time. And I think anime is a strong possibility. So just a way to get people into the brand beyond just the hardcore collector like you and I, whether it's 80s nostalgia or it's current GI Joe Classified. Like, how do we get more people involved? Yellowstone and all those cowboy shows are like really popular right now. Someone might just be messing around the toy aisle and see that cowboy and be like, yo, this looks so good. This is badass. They might just buy Sundown and not buy any other GI Joe. Like, I think this is smart stuff. You don't have to buy everything, you don't have to love everything, but I think this is their attempt to get into media, at least try more media.
I think you want to get if you want to get, I think you give kids, just don't, they play with their iPad, but you want to get the teenagers dorky teenagers have a huge potential for being GI Joe fans. They could get really into it, and something like that cartoon collector, like they like to collect, they like to cosplay. So things like Don Moreno is a great pull for the dorky teenager to go to like Comic-Con and see cosplay of Don Moreno, or want to do cosplay. That's the kind of stuff. I think that's the audience you want. You want this fandom audience, even more than kids. I feel like, because I feel like kids don't buy toys as much as they don't have the money to buy those toys.
Right. I think, I think that's true. But I don't think they ever, as Hasbro, as a corporation, never want to abandon. I know that from working at Mattel and doing Toy Fair for Mattel Toy Fair, is that they never ever want to abandon children.
I hope they
speaking to
don't.
sales. No, like, you know, and you get, especially a Mattel company, like look at the first, we don't want to make this a non-GI Joe show, but just to kind of hit on our point, is the new DC figures are aimed at kids, period. I mean, those are, they still, because they say our collector figures for DC Mattel are coming in January. So the ones they showed off at Toy Fair are the, you know, like less POA, more of a main event basic WWE figure where, you know, you can, you know, like you can bend the arms like this, but you're not going to have double pinless elbows. You're not going to have butterfly joints and drop down hits and all that. And you're not going to come with 5 different alternate heads. You're making like a affordable core figure. And I think like DC is Batman and Joker, and like they want to start off having, you know, parents and kids about whether they buy it or not. Hey, but you still want to try at the end of the day. I'm not saying this is a way to get kids into GI Joe Classified. It's just a way to get kids into GI Joe period as a brand. You know what I mean?
Hopefully they'll do a better job, because when Hasbro did like the kids stuff for GI Joe, it sucked. Remember they when the Snake Eyes movie came out, they did a kids line, and it was absolute dog shit. So it's like,
at least it just wasn't projected, even if some of it was like the Night Creeper was cool, but at least like it wasn't like, I don't think they targeted it right. You know what I mean? It really comes down to marketing. But look, before I let you go, we always, whenever we have guests on or anybody, you gotta tell me your overall score out of 5, whiskey score for New York Toy Fair, based on the reveals and everything you've seen, all the pictures we went over today, the pre-orders, reveals, just kind of an overall score out of 5. And you can use, if you're not familiar, you can use increments of
whiskey here.
0.25. There you go. Hey, I gotta fly tomorrow, so just you know, a can of seltzer for me. But yeah, you can use 0.25, 0.5, whatever. But just give me an overall grade if you can, Mark.
Yeah, I'm gonna give it a 3.5, I think.
Okay.
3.5, yeah. Which is, it was good, but it wasn't like the lack of vehicle to me, it drops it down, you know, maybe 1 for being, you know, I think I gotta remove point. I was happy with the reveals. I thought that all the figures were really fun, and really exciting, and there was some surprises there, but yeah, the lack of vehicle, that you know, really wanted a Thunder Machine reveal, or Polar Battle Bear, or a Water Moccasin, or something revealed, you know.
For sure. And I think just with GI Joe, with how many vehicles there are and we don't get yet, and then the only vehicles we got were a color change of a ferret and a trouble bubble, is but I think the thing is, we talked about some of the figures and how much money they actually did put into some of these new, like even this new wave I reviewed, 4 figures are all new, like almost all, besides a bracelet from Wetsuit, a paracord bracelet. We got all new Lifeline, all new Big Lob, all new Night Viper, all new Hit and Run, all new pieces and molds in one wave. Now, Agent, you know, the stage 2 Mole Rat was just a new face, and then everything else was repaint. But we haven't gotten that. Usually, it's you're dissecting and seeing old pieces of characters. So to get a whole new wave, so for this, we're getting a lot of, I'm not saying all the pieces are all new, but we're getting a lot of all new characters. You know what I mean? So like the, you know, all new molds. So maybe a lot of money went into the actual figures. You know, we got the Swamp Skiers new. Zanya seems like she's got a lot of newness to her. The Dinosaurs new. There's a lot. You know, again, like, I mean, we got the Night Creeper. That's all reuse. But I mean, some of that stuff, you got to kind of look at it from a business. So if they're putting all the money into all new figures, that doesn't leave a lot of open space for all new molding for a vehicle, and that takes time. So maybe, hopefully, Comic-Con is the place where we get a bunch of a vehicle dump, of all new vehicles with all new tooling. Because I get what you're saying, though. I think I would agree. That's definitely was the missing piece, was the like a blowaway vehicle. It's GI Joe. They're known for vehicles as much as figures. So I'm gonna go 4.25 though. I was gonna go higher, but you're right. I think the 4-pack with the kind of the I wouldn't even call it a hostage pack because it's all it's all, you don't need any, right? People are calling Zania that, but I think she's great. But yeah, overall it's good. I mean, a lot of the same stuff from GI Joe Day too.
True. Yeah.
So it wasn't like if they was all just introduced at New York Comic Con out of nowhere, then we're looking at like almost a 5, but we've already talked about it like last week.
Yeah.
So, but good shit. What else we got going on with Destro as a my spirit animal? What do you got cooking on the website?
So I'm working on the mythology of Street Fighter. So that should be coming out this week. So working on the mythology series. Got about 15, 16 of them or something done. So yeah, that's fun. Yeah. So Street Fighter's the next one. I think She-Ra after that.
Nice.
Oh yeah, that's
awesome.
a big one.
If there's anything we cover heavy on the channel, besides Joe, it's Street Fighter, along with Marvel. So
nice.
Do you collect the Jada stuff? The Jada Street Fighter?
I haven't yet. In fact, I didn't really know that much about Street Fighter, but going and doing a deep dive now, I know a lot. I get by. I had.
What about the movie? You're excited for it? Do you think it looks pretty hokey or what? With all the famous people in it, or like you got 50 Cent and Cody Rhodes and all this stuff.
I think they nailed it on Ryu, so I think that guy's great. I love him.
Oh yeah, from Warrior.
Yeah.
And he was Storm Shadow and Snake Eyes. Yeah,
and they're going goofy, so it's kind of fun. I mean, it's a kind of goofy mythology. I think they're and Bison's terrible though. That is just like, I don't understand that casting. He's a great actor. I like him, so it's not a shot, but he's got to be huge and like intimidating. And they just removed all of the
like every normal man. Yeah.
Even like a little wimpier. He's kind of known for playing kind of like a weird reclusey type people. I feel like, I don't know, it just doesn't make sense to me. He should be. M. Bison's terrifying.
Agreed on that, especially watching the anime movie. Like he was you got scared when he came on. But hey, it wasn't a scary show. We had a great time. I hope you did too, man.
Yeah, thanks for having me, man.
Yeah, it was a great conversation. So look, if you haven't subscribed yet, what's wrong with you? Destro is my spirit animals over at YouTube, and you can follow him also at Destro is my spirit animal on Instagram. Is there anything else you want to shout out before we head out for the night?
No, I think that's it. Yeah.
That's what's up, man. All right. So, hey, hopefully it won't be too long before we do this again. Appreciate it.
Yeah. Thanks for the invite. Nice.
All right. Thanks so much, Mark. So for Destro is my spirit animal, this has been episode 252, the New York Toy Fair review, and are dinosaurs allowed and classified? Yeah, that's up to you. You let us know in the comments and let us know in the chat. And until then, we'll see you next time.